I'm Charlotte Namwandi.
Good afternoon, my name is Sarah Shawada.
Good afternoon, my name is Anna and my surname is Petrus.
Good afternoon, my name is Letitia Ilonga.
Good afternoon, my name is Ukaura Mudebe.
Good afternoon, my name is Cleophas Sekanjo.
Good afternoon, my name is Monica Mbedeka.
Good afternoon, my name is Christian Amutenya.
And together we are Economics 1.
Good afternoon, welcome to our Economics 1 class presentation. Today we are focusing on current account, a topic under international trade. Today our main focus will be on the causes and consequences of a current account surplus and deficit.
A current account. What is a current account? A current account records the payments of goods and services plus investment income and transfers of an economy and the rest of the world. So in economics, a current account is the records of exports and imports of both goods and services as well as international transfers of capital. And this is where a deficit and a surplus can be determined.
So since you guys now understand what the current account is, we are going to talk about the current account deficit. So this refers to when there's a fall in the value of goods and services that are produced. This happens when the imports that you are, whatever you're buying from outside is more compared to what you are exporting to other countries.
The causes of a current account deficit. Point number one, low productivity. Let's say, for example, Namibia exports beef to other countries, and all of a sudden the industry of beef explodes up or something. So the productivity will decrease, and that will have an effect on the trade balance, which was the initial topic. Point number two, it's high inflation. When a country has high inflation, isn't it? It's true. When a country has high inflation in a country, other countries will find it hard to invest in that country because of high inflation. And low infrastructure also causes a deficit in the current account of the country because, like for example, Namibia, we don't have machinery to process our diamonds, which is a big disadvantage because we have to export our minerals to other countries for a really small amount of money and buy it back for a really huge amount of money, which is not needed in our country.
Since you know the meaning of the current account deficit and the causes of the current account deficit, now we are going to look at the consequences of the current account deficit, particularly on inflation and low productivity. Now we are focusing on the consequences of inflation. We have decreasing purchasing power, which means money loses its value as the price of goods and services increase, and this leads to less spending. We also have inequality, which means low-income households will be better affected because they cannot afford the goods and services. Now we are moving on to the consequences of low productivity. This leads to high unemployment rate, and which leads to less revenue, less spending, and less development.
What is a current account surplus? A current account surplus is when a country is experiencing a positive current account balance, meaning that the country has more export than imports of goods and services. In other words, the exports are more and the imports are low.
Moving on to the causes of the current account surplus. Number one, domestic demand. When local consumers demand less of imported goods, this will create a surplus because the imports will be less than the exports, which is good for a country. Number two, high exports. When a country starts exporting more to other countries, this will create a surplus in our current account. For example, when Namibia starts exporting more of beef to USA, Japan, and other countries, this will create more imports and a surplus because we are gaining their currency, which is strong. Although Namibia is not one of the countries that experience a surplus over the years, we have other countries, powerful countries that experience surplus all over the years. Number 1, USA. USA is one of the countries that experience a surplus because of their high exports. Japan is also one of the countries, and China. In African countries, not all of them experience a surplus.
Since you already know the definition of surplus and the causes of surplus, so let's look at the consequences of surplus. The first point is that surplus boosts the economy. When I'm trying to say surplus boosts the economy, most of the people will be employed in that specific economy. They will be earning an income, able to buy whatever they want. And this reduces unemployment costs. Most of the people are employed. It also leads to more development in the economy because the government will be collecting income through taxation from the workers, leading to more spending. As I have said, most of the people are employed in that specific economy. It will also be good for the government because they will be, when they are collecting the income from taxation, they'll be able to pay off their debts.
Just to sum up on today's class, we're focused on a current account, which is a topic under international trade. Now, a current account is an account that records the imports and exports of goods and services, inclusive of international transfer of capital. A current account can either be in a deficit or a surplus. Now, as my colleagues mentioned, a deficit is when exports are more than imports, and a surplus is vice versa, when imports are more than exports. My colleagues also spoke about the causes of a deficit on the current account, which was low production, low infrastructure, and inflation. Now, the consequences of these effects is high unemployment, less spending, and less tax revenue. Not to forget, my colleague also mentioned and spoke about the causes of a surplus on a current account, which were domestic demand, high exports, and job creation. And now the consequences of the mentioned is a boost in a country's economy. My colleague also went furthermore and explained or mentioned a few countries that are experiencing a surplus on their current account, which is the USA and Japan.
That's it from Economics 1.
Don't forget to subscribe, like,
Comment, share,
and hit the notification bell to be notified of our next video.
ciao!